"Hands up!" Officer Bryant shouted, pointing his gun at Angela as she had just exited the Mercedes. She calmly raised her hands, even surrounded by suspicious eyes and cell phone cameras. But when they discovered who she really was, the entire complex went silent. The still-hot asphalt exudes steam. Angela Martins closes the door of her black Mercedes with a sharp click. Running clothes cling to her body with sweat, Nike sneakers tapping the ground as if marking her territory. The Sunset Hills condominium exudes quiet luxury, impeccable gardens, a mirrored glass entrance, cameras at every turn. Officer Bryant emerges from the shadows like a white blur against the orange sunset. Right hand on his gun, left on his radio. His footsteps echo against the marble entrance as Wilson, the black doorman, freezes behind the counter. "What are you doing here?" Bryant cuts the air with a harsh voice. "This is a private condominium." Angela stops, not out of fear, but with the calculated precision of someone who knows the game. Curtains move in the building's windows. White faces press against the glass, eyes hungry for spectacle. The silent courtroom settles in. "I live here," she replies, her voice firm as concrete. Bryant's hand tightens on his holster. Wilson swallows hard. He knows this script by heart. Her father's voice echoes in Angela's mind. "Daughter, never lower your head. Make them see you." She takes a deep breath, feeling the invisible weight of generations on her shoulders. Every Angela who came before her whispers into the wind, "You belong wherever you step." Angela holds out the golden key, slowly as if disarming a bomb. "Apartment 847. Want to check it out?" Bryant doesn't look at the key. He looks at the color of her skin. "Don't move. Hands on your head." In that marble courtyard, the only thing out of place was the presence of someone who truly belonged there. Angela raises her hands slowly, as if she knows every move of this macabre dance. The night wind ruffles her loose curls, beads of sweat still glistening on her dark forehead. Her eyes don't waver. They don't shift. They lock onto Bryant's like two anchors fixed to the ocean floor. The condominium's courtyard becomes a stage. Donna Rita, the 60-year-old cleaning lady, stops sweeping and holds the broom as a shield. From the second-floor window, neighbor Melissa points her cell phone, recording every second like someone collecting tragedies. The Thompson couple appears on the balcony with glasses of wine, VIP spectators of the human circus. "Hands on your head!" Bryant shouts, his voice echoing between the buildings like a bark. Angela takes a deep breath. This isn't the first time. It won't be the last. The ritual is always the same. The automatic suspicion, the commanding tone, the public humiliation. She knows every note of this racist symphony. "Officer," she speaks softly but firmly, "I'm coming back from training. I live at 847. Her posture remains erect, chin held high. A queen does not bow before soldiers. "Girl, and when the world tries to break you, remember that you are made of the same clay that built the pyramids." Grandmother Concison's voice resonates like an ancestral mantra. Angela feels the matriarch's calloused hands on her shoulders, the scent of cinnamon and the strength that always accompanies her. Quick flashback. Her at 8 years old, crying because her teacher said girls like her weren't FBI material. Grandma Concison wiping her tears. "They are afraid of what you might become. My granddaughter. Keep being that." She remained. She graduated in law. She passed the most difficult exam in the country. She broke barriers she didn't even know existed. Wilson, the doorman, hesitates behind the glass. He recognizes Angela from 2 years ago, but his voice dies in his throat. The fear of losing his job weighs more heavily than the truth. "I don't know that one," he whispers to Bryant, betraying his own conscience. Angela listens. Her eyes meet Wilson's for a second. There's no anger in her gaze. There's understanding. She knows the weight of the invisible chains. "It's okay, Wilson," she murmurs, too quietly for Bryant to hear. "I understand. Sometimes, the greatest violence doesn't come from those who point a gun at you, but from those who know you and choose silence." The balconies of Sunset Hills transform into boxes in a cruel theater. Melissa Thompson adjusts the zoom on her iPhone 14, capturing every angle of the humiliation with the precision of a film director. Her husband, Richard, appears nearby with a glass of Bordeaux, smiling like someone watching an action movie. "Honey, are you recording?" he whispers, delighted. On the third floor, elderly Mrs. Foster peers through the lace curtain, rosary in hand, but without praying for mercy. Just morbid curiosity. The young couple from the penthouse, Ethan and Sarah, hide behind the pillar, whispering conspiracy theories about break-ins and inadequate security. Donna Rita stops sweeping completely. Her hands tremble around the broom handle, intimately and painfully familiar with every frame of this film she's seen dozens of times. "How did she get that car?" Melissa asks aloud, acting in disbelief to her Instagram followers. "It must be stolen," Richard adds, between sips of wine, "or borrowed from a boss." The words cut through the air like razors. Angela hears every syllable, every muffled laugh, every racist theory being constructed live. Isolation materializes around her like an invisible dome. Mrs. Foster shakes her head in manufactured moral disapproval. "In my time, these people knew their place, her place, as if humanity were geography and some coordinates were forbidden to certain skins." Angela closes her eyes for a second. She smells cornmeal cake from her grandmother's kitchen, hears the clang of pots and pans on a family Sunday. "My daughter, when they talk about you, remember, you are not just defending yourself. You carry the dream of every black woman who came before." How many Angelas were broken in these same courtyards? How many lowered their heads, apologized for existing, shrank until they disappeared? She takes a deep breath and decides, not today, not her. A voice comes from the fifth floor. Marcus, a 12-year-old black boy, the son of Mr. Johnson's maid, watches from the maid's bedroom window. "Mommy, why are you doing this to the girl?" he innocently asks his mother, Carla, who quickly pulls him away from the window. "Shh, my son, it's none of our business." But Marcus resists, pressing his face against the glass. His eyes meet Angela's. She sees the future in him. He sees possibility in her. Angela whispers, barely audible, but Marcus reads her lips. "You belong anywhere, boy." The silence of those who could speak screams louder than the voices of those who choose to judge. Time freezes. Angela closes her eyes, and the marble courtyard dissolves. She's 17 again, standing before the fogged-up mirror in the Quantico Police Academy bathroom. Her navy blue uniform still smells of starch. Her polished boots reflect the cold fluorescent lights of the locker room. In the background, her classmates' laughter echoes through the hallways. "First black girl in the class? I bet she won't last 3 weeks." Quota policy in action. Angela wipes the mirror with her sleeve, sees her reflection, and whispers to herself, "They don't know who you are yet, but they will find out." Flash forward, nights studying until 3 in the morning while others slept. Perfect grades when teachers expected mediocrity. Accurate shots when they doubted your aim. First place in hand-to-hand combat when they bet on your fragility. "Martins!" Instructor Coleman shouted during interrogation resistance training. "Whom you won't be able to intimidate anyone with that little girl's face." Angela rose from the mud, her uniform dirty, her hair plastered to her face from the cold November rain. 16 hours of simulation, but she didn't break. She didn't cry. She didn't beg for mercy. "Sir, with all due respect," she replied, her voice firm despite her fatigue. "I don't need to intimidate anyone. I just need to be better." Coleman smiled for the first time in weeks. He had found a real soldier. "Girl, you were born into a family of queens." The voice of his father, retired Colonel James Martins, the first black person to command a battalion in the region. "Your great-grandmother built this family with her own hands. Your grandmother raised 7 children working as a maid, and today they all have degrees. I broke barriers in the military so you can break yours in the FBI. You don't just carry your name, daughter. You carry our story." Angela remembers the graduation ceremony. Her father in military uniform, chest puffed with pride. Grandmother Conceição weeping in the front row, holding the Bible that belonged to her enslaved great-grandmother. 3 generations of struggle condensed into that moment. Principal Harvey Patterson, a white man in his 60s with graying hair, called her over for a chat after the ceremony. "Martins, do you know that you will be the first black woman in the high-risk federal crimes unit?" "Yes, sir." "Do you also know that all eyes will be on you?" Any mistake will be magnified. Any success will be questioned. Angela looked him straight in the eye. Sir, my family taught me that excellence is not an option. It is an inheritance. Patterson smiled. That's why you're going to change this institution, Agent Martins. Some people are born to break glass ceilings. Others are born to build ladders for those who come after. The cold metal of the handcuffs bites into Angela's wrists with a click that echoes like a sentence. Bryant forces her arms back with unnecessary brutality, the kind of violence that disguises itself as protocol. Her brown skin is marked against the steel, but she doesn't moan. She doesn't give him the satisfaction. The second police car appears like a hungry predator, tires screeching on the asphalt. Officer Carter climbs out slowly, a crooked smile on his lips, his prominent belly straining his blue uniform. His mirrored sunglasses reflect Angela's face like two distorted mirrors of reality. Well, well. Carter laughs as he claps his hands, as if applauding a performance. Bryant, you caught a big fish today. The temperature in the courtyard seems to drop 10 degrees. Residents' cameras multiply, each flash a pinprick of light that transforms the humiliation into a viral spectacle. Bryant pushes Angela against the hood of the Mercedes, the still warm metal of the engine contrasting with the cold of the handcuffs. The metallic clang echoes between the buildings like a war gong. This one said she lives at 847. Bryant spits the words with contempt. New Mercedes. Designer clothes. She must be a drug dealer or a prostitute. Carter approaches, the smell of cold coffee and cheap cigarettes wafting from his sweaty uniform. Or both. Have you seen how these people live? Easy money, easy life. The words cut deeper than knives. These people. As if Angela were a different species, a lower category of human being. As if her humanity were questionable, her right to exist conditional. Melissa Thompson intensifies the recording, zooming in on Angela's face, looking for signs of desperation to go viral. Anger, pure and crystalline like a laser-cut diamond. Angela feels her blood boiling in her veins, each heartbeat a hammer against her chest. Breathe, girl, breathe. Grandma's voice calms her. They want your anger. Don't give them what they want. She thinks about the FBI's psychological resilience training. Dozens of hours learning to keep a cool head when your body wants to explode. Every insult, every shove, every disgusted look becomes fuel for an inner furnace they'll never be able to extinguish. Let them play a little longer, daughter. The lion doesn't reveal his claws until the right time. Carter walks around Angela like a predator studying its prey. What's your name again, princess? Special Agent Angela Martins. She answers quietly, but with surgical precision. Carter laughs. Agent? He turns to Bryant. Man, she thinks she's the FBI. The laugh turns into a cough. Next time she'll say she's the president. Angela smiles. A small, almost imperceptible smile, but one that carries something dangerous at the corners of her mouth. You will remember this moment for the rest of your careers. Arrogance is always loudest in the seconds before silence. The night wind plays with the leaves of the condominium's yellow epee trees, creating a whispering soundtrack to the drama that's about to change tone. Carter bends down to retrieve something that slipped from Angela's inside jacket pocket during the aggressive search. A golden rectangle gleams under the light from the LED streetlights. His thick, sweaty fingers pick up the object with the curiosity of a child opening a Christmas present. Bryant continues to hold Angela against the hood, but something in Carter's posture begins to change. The mocking smile freezes on his lips like water turning to ice. What's this? Carter mutters to himself, turning the object between his fingers. The residents' cameras capture every micro-expression of confusion that appears on the officer's face. Melissa Thompson zooms out, sensing something big is about to happen. The entire courtyard seems to hold its breath. Angela Martins, Special Agent, Federal Bureau of Investigation. Carter reads aloud, each word coming out of his mouth like a stone being spat out. The gold badge weighs heavily in your hands as if made of molten lead. Your eyes dart from your badge to Angela, from Angela to Bryant, from Bryant back to your badge. An endless loop of disbelief. This is fake, he stammers, but his voice is lacking conviction. It has to be fake. Bryant releases Angela's wrists as if he's just touched a red-hot iron. His hands tremble imperceptibly. The sweat that was once adrenaline is now pure terror. "Carter, tell me this is a joke," Bryant whispers, his voice breaking. Angela feels every muscle in her body relax for the first time since she got out of the car. Not relieved, just prepared. Now the real game begins. "My daughter." His father's voice echoes in his mind. "When they find out who you are, they'll try to minimize the mistake. Don't let them." She thinks about the FBI's protocols on abuse of authority. Every second of this humiliation was recorded by multiple cameras. Every prejudiced word was documented. Every shove was recorded. The evidence is overwhelming and incontrovertible. Bitter irony rises in the throat like sweet bile. How many other Angelas have gone through this without a badge to protect themselves? How many identities have been ignored? How many dignities have been trampled without cameras to witness it? Wilson, the doorman, finally finds courage in his own previous cowardice. His voice emerges from the glass booth like a belated confession. "Officer, I know her. She's lived here for 2 years. Apartment 847. I was afraid to say anything before." Donna Rita drops the broom and approaches, her steps firm on the marble. "This girl is one of the most polite residents here. She always greets everyone, always kind." Carter looks around like a cornered animal. The cameras that were once his allies have now become his worst enemies. We received a call." "What call?" Angela finally speaks, her voice calm as a lake before a storm. Nothing changes a man faster than discovering he completely underestimated the person in front of him. Angela steps away from the hood of the Mercedes with fluid movements, like a feline finally revealing its claws. The handcuffs have already been removed. Carter took them off with trembling hands, the metal clinking against the floor like coins falling into a deep well. She massages her bruised wrists, red circles marking where the steel bit into her brown skin. The Sunset Hills courtyard transforms into a gladiatorial arena. Every window becomes a box seat, every resident a witness. Angela walks to the center of the space, her posture erect, her chin held high. Her footsteps echo on the marble like the beat of a pre-war drum. Bryant instinctively recoils. Carter wipes the sweat from his forehead with his sleeve. Power has changed hands so quickly that the air still vibrates with the reversal. "You just arrested a federal agent without a warrant, without probable cause, and based solely on the color of my skin." Angela speaks slowly, each word a silver bullet. "Do you want to know what crime was committed here today?" She pulls her cell phone from her pocket and turns on the camera, pointing it directly at the 2 officers. The flash illuminates their pale faces like an interrogation spotlight. Officers Bryant and Carter, badges 4,429 and 3,387 respectively. You have the right to remain silent because anything you say will be used against you in federal court. The irony is both delicious and bitter. Angela recites the Miranda rights to those who should protect and serve, but who chose to humiliate and oppress. Carter tries to interrupt. "Agent, there's been a misunderstanding." Silence. Angela's voice cuts like a blade. "I'm not finished." Ancestral strength runs through her veins like a mighty river. Angela feels the presence of every black woman who came before her, who was silenced, humiliated, who lowered her head when she should have raised her voice. "It's not just for you, daughter. It's for all of us." She thinks of Rosa Parks, Sojourner Truth, and all the anonymous women who faced racist uniforms without FBI badges to protect them. This isn't just her victory, it's historical reparations in real time. Melissa Thompson lowers her phone, hands shaking. Her recording is now evidence against her. Richard disappears from the balcony like a fugitive ghost. I was just... Melissa stutters. "You were documenting a hate crime," Angela replies without taking her eyes off the officers. "Thank you for your cooperation." Donna Rita approaches, broom in hand like a staff of justice. "Girl, I saw everything. They treated you like a criminal just because of your skin color." Wilson leaves the booth, finally finding courage. "Agent Martins, I apologize. I should have spoken sooner." Angela stands in the center of the courtyard, her voice echoing between the buildings. "Residents, you have just witnessed how racism operates in our society." Some laughed, others recorded, few intervened. Absolute silence. Windows close like embarrassed eyelids. Those who laughed now hide their faces. The courtyard echoes only with the sound of the wind and justice being served. How many times have you seen something like this happen and remained silent? Today is the day to choose which side of history you want to be on. When a black woman stops asking for permission to exist, the entire world needs to reposition itself. The sound of sirens cuts through the night like blades tearing silk. 3 civil police internal affairs vehicles appear on the horizon, blue and red lights painting the white marble of the condominium in hues of delayed justice. Tires screech on the asphalt, wet from the light drizzle that has begun to fall, creating a cinematic soundtrack for the downfall of the powerful. Angela stands in the center of the courtyard, motionless as a bronze statue erected in a public square. Her running clothes drip with light rain, but her posture is that of a general who has just won a decisive battle. Carter tries to hide behind the patrol car, like a child trying to disappear behind a transparent curtain. Police Chief Samuel Torres steps out of the first car, a 50-year-old black man with graying hair and a military posture. His footsteps echo on the marble like a judge's gavel hitting a table. "Agent Martins." Torres extends his hand with military respect. "We received your call. We'll arrive as quickly as possible." The revelation hits Bryant like a bolt from the blue. Angela managed to call internal affairs during the entire humiliation. Every second of the abuse was monitored, every racist word documented. She wasn't just a victim, she was an investigator gathering evidence in real time. "Deputy Torres," Angela shakes his hand firmly. "We have here 2 clear cases of racially motivated abuse of authority, falsification of an emergency call, and unlawful coercion." Carter finally finds his voice, but it comes out broken. "We received an anonymous tip about a break-in." Torres checks his tablet. "That's funny, Officer Carter. We have no record of any calls to this address today." Angela feels a deep, ancient satisfaction. It's not revenge, it's reparation. Every Angela who came before her, who was silenced by racist uniforms, whispers in the wind, "Finally, my daughter. Finally, our voice echoes louder than their prejudice." She thinks of her mother, a nurse who was mistreated by hospital security guards for looking suspicious, coming into work. Her cousin, a lawyer, was mistaken for a defendant in her own courtroom. This victory isn't just hers. It's collective, historic, and necessary. Donna Rita approaches the police chief, broom still in her hands as a witness's staff. "Chief, I saw everything. They treated this girl like a criminal just because of her skin color. I'm 60 years old. I've worked here for 15, and I've never seen such cowardice." Wilson emerges from the booth, finally feeling confident. "Chief, Agent Martins has lived here for 2 years. I lied before out of fear, but now I can't keep quiet anymore. They publicly humiliated her." Marcus, the 12-year-old boy, appears at the 5th-floor window and shouts, "Aunt Angela, you are my hero." The courtyard becomes an open-air courtroom. Those who once laughed now testify against their attackers. Melissa Thompson, who once recorded the video to go viral, now presents the video as evidence of the injustice. This is proof that when we come together, justice is possible. Share this story. It needs to reach every person who still believes racism can no longer exist. Embarrassed silence from the residents. Timid applause begins with Donna Rita and spreads. Bryant and Carter are handcuffed by their own colleagues. The irony of justice is cinematic and necessary. Sometimes historical reparations happen one Angela at a time, one badge at a time, one dignity at a time. The drizzle has stopped. The Sunset Hills courtyard breathes respectful silence for the first time in years. Angela walks slowly to the elevator, her keys jingling softly against her hand like a freedom bell. Each step echoes on the wet marble, creating a soundtrack of regained dignity. Her running clothes still cling to her body, Nike sneakers leaving damp footprints on the spotless floor, but now she's no longer a suspect. She's simply Angela Martins returning home after a late-night workout, just like she always was, just like she always should have been. Wilson holds the elevator door with genuine reverence, his eyes lowered in belated but honest shame. Marcus, a young boy, appears running from the service elevator, carrying a hand-drawn drawing, a black woman with a gold badge and the word heroin written in blue crayon. The entire condominium watches from the window, but this time not as predators thirsting for spectacle. Like people who have just witnessed history being rewritten in real time. Melissa Thompson posted a public apology on Instagram, admitting she was wrong. Richard disappeared from the balcony, too embarrassed to show his face. Donna Rita sweeps away the last traces of that terrible night. But her movements now carry a different purpose. She's not cleaning up dirt. She's removing the remains of an era that needs to die. You did more than defend yourself, my daughter. You defended all of us. Grandmother Conceiçon's voice echoes in the echo of the elevator ascending. Angela feels generations of black women walking beside her, those who were silenced, those who were broken, those who resisted in silence. She thinks of her mother, who will wake up tomorrow proud to see the news, of her father, who will smile knowing his daughter honored the family uniform, of her cousins, who will feel stronger to face their own daily battles against structural prejudice. This victory has collective DNA. It's individual in form, but ancestral in essence. Marcus holds out the drawing with trembling hands. Aunt Angela, I want to be an FBI agent when I grow up, just like you. Angela kneels at his eye level, accepting the drawing as if it were an honorary diploma. Marcus, you can be anything you want. And when someone says you can't, you show them who you really are. The boy smiles. How did you do today? Like I did today. Angela sticks Marcus's drawing on her apartment door. A silent declaration. Here lives a black woman who doesn't ask permission to exist. Here lives someone who paved the way for other Marcuses to dream without fear. Angela turns one last time to the empty courtyard, her voice echoing between the buildings. My identity is not my credentials. My identity is my existence. And existing, in peace, anywhere, should be a right, not an achievement. If this story touched you, share it and subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. Every person who sees this needs to choose. Will they be a bridge or a wall for the next Angela who appears in their life? Resistance, sometimes, is simply refusing to disappear when the world insists you shouldn't be there.